Shot number 1 will be an establishing shot of the warehouse. It will be an extreme wide shot showing the warehouse and its surroundings. During the shot there will be a slight, constant, slow zoom towards the warehouse, and we will hear a voiceover where the protagonist is receiving a job from another character. Shot number 2 will be a mid-shot showing the protagonist opening the doors of the warehouse. During the shot, an eerie score begins to play in the background, which will continue throughout most of the film. Shot number 3 will show the protagonist outside the doors of the warehouse ready to step in. It will be a wide-angle shot with the protagonist in the centre of the shot. Shot number 4 will be a dark voyeur shot with the camera acting as the eyes of a figure watching the protagonist in the warehouse. It will be an extreme wide shot showing the whole warehouse. We will hear the protagonist's footsteps, and also when the protagonist shines a torch towards the figure or the camera, it will duck away and we will hear heavy breathing of the figure. Shot number 5 will be an over-the-shoulder shot of the protagonist removing his camera gear from his bag and beginning to set up. The shot will be set quite high so we can see what's in his bag, and the camera will also move slightly so we can see more of what's in his bag. The sound during the shot will be a rustling of the bag and what's in it. Shot number 6 continues directly from shot number 5, and it just shows a different angle of the protagonist removing the gear from his bag. This shot will be a mid-shot and the rustling of the bag will continue. Shot number 7 will be another dark voyeur shot, however this one will be a different angle than the one used in shot 4. It will show the character setting up his camera and other items, and there will be some slight camera movement to indicate that the figure is breathing and moving. Shot number 8 will be a close-up over-the-shoulder shot of the character taking pictures of the warehouse. We will be able to see the screen of the camera, and we will utilise some tracking movements to follow the camera as it is moved by the protagonist. At the end of the shot, the flash of the camera will go off, and we will see a faint figure illuminated briefly, however the protagonist will not see it. Shot number 9 will link directly to shot number 8, and it will be a very short shot, and it will show a close-up of the protagonist's face while he is taking photos, and directly after he has taken the final photo where we see the faint figure illuminated. Shot number 10 will be a mid-shot of the protagonist packing up his things back into his bag. Again, there will be some slight movement to see what he is packing into his bag, and also the rustling of his bag and the things that are inside it. Shot number 11 is a mid-shot from behind, showing the protagonist leaving the warehouse. As he moves towards the doors at the end of the shot, he hears a sound behind him, which makes him stop. Shot number 12 will be an eye-line match shot, which will give the audience an idea of what the character is seeing at that point in time. It will be an extreme wide shot of the warehouse, which will be very dark. However, when the protagonist turns back away from the warehouse, the audience will see a slight figure move from the darkness. Shot number 13 will link directly to shot number 12, and it will be an over-the-shoulder shot from behind the character just as he turns back around. Shot number 14 will be yet another dark voyeur shot, again from a different location than the previous two. It will show the protagonist leaving the warehouse, and again there will be some slight camera movement to indicate breathing of the figure. This shot will also have a different, faster-paced eerie score in the background, which will continue for several future shots. Shot 14 will move directly on to shot 15, without a cut. It will go back to the darkness of the warehouse, where we will see a faint figure emerge. When we see the figure, the eerie score will quicken even more. Shot 16 will show the character moving away from the warehouse. The shot will be a low angle, and it will start behind the protagonist. It will then move to the side of the character, where it will track his movements. Shot number 17 will be an extreme wide-angle shot, which will show the character moving away from the warehouse and towards the camera. He will be on the right-hand side of the screen, and we'll be able to hear his footsteps above the eerie score. Shot 18 will lead directly from 17, and it will show an extreme close-up of the protagonist walking past the camera, obscuring the view of the warehouse. When the protagonist steps out of the way, we see a figure faintly by the warehouse, which wasn't previously visible. This is shown in the extreme wide shot of the warehouse. Shot number 19 is a bird's eye view shot of the protagonist walking up his path towards his door. During the shot, we see a faint shadow of a figure at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen, which slowly gets closer to the protagonist during the shot. Also during the shot, we will hear footsteps of the figure and the eerie score that has continued throughout the film. Shot number 20 will be a short shot, and it will be an extreme close-up of the protagonist's hand opening the door of his house. During the shot, we hear the creaking of the door as he enters the house. Shot 21 will go back to the same angle as shot 19, the bird's eye view angle. However, this time the path will be empty, but the figure that was previously visible will now stop moving. Shot number 22 will be a shot of the protagonist walking down his corridor in his house. It will be a high angle shot from the end of the corridor, showing the protagonist walking towards the camera. During the shot, the lights in the hallway will be flickering, indicating that the electricity is running low. Also, we'll hear the sound of the lights flickering and the eerie score that's continued throughout the film. Shot number 23 will be a close-up of the light as it is flickering on and off. During the shot, there will be a slight zoom towards the light until it goes out completely. The sounds during the shot will be the lights flickering on and off and the electrical sound as it breaks. Shot number 24 will be a mid-shot showing the character moving into the darkness after the lights have flickered out. There will be some slight movement during the shot, connoting the wobbliness of the character himself. Also, we will hear the footsteps and the breathing of the protagonist. Shot number 25 will be a low-angle shot showing the character going up the stairs of his house. The camera will follow the character up the stairs as he moves, and we will hear the footsteps of the character during the shot. Shot number 26 is an extreme low-angle close-up shot of the attic hatch being opened. During the shot, we will hear the squeaking of the door as it is opened. Shot number 27 is an extreme low-angle shot showing the protagonist going up the ladder to the attic. There is no camera movement during the shot, and during the shot we also hear the footsteps of the protagonist's feet on the ladder. Shot number 28 is a high-angle shot showing the protagonist entering the attic through the hatch. We see him coming up the ladder from the top. There will be no extra sound in this shot. Shot number 29 is an over-the-shoulder shot of the protagonist moving through some papers up in the attic. During the shot, there is a slight zoom towards the papers that he is looking at, and we hear the rustling of the papers throughout the shot. Shot number 30 is a close-up shot of a newspaper's headline that the protagonist is looking at. During the shot, there is a slight zoom towards the headline. Shot number 31 links directly with number 30, as the shot shows an extreme close-up of the protagonist's eyes full of fear after what he has seen on the newspaper. There is no camera movement throughout the shot. Shot number 32 also links directly with 30 and 31, as it is an eyeline match from number 31. After we have seen the protagonist's eyes, we now see what he is looking at, and there is a close-up of back to the paper and the headline again. Shot number 33 is a close-up of a match being lit by the protagonist. During the shot, there is a slight zoom towards the match and some slight camera movements to show the match moving away from where it is lit. Shot number 34 links directly to number 33 and shows the character's face and his reaction after he has illuminated the papers using the match. It is a close-up shot, but there is no movement during the shot. Shot number 35 is again a close-up of the papers that the protagonist is looking at. However, on this shot, we see more of the papers and more what is written underneath the headline as the camera moves slowly over the papers, allowing the audience to read what is written on the papers. Shot number 36 is yet another close-up of the character's eyes. Again, so we can see his reaction to what he reads on the papers. Shot number 37 is filmed from outside of the hatch, and it is a close-up showing the hatch being violently slammed shut by some unknown force. During the scene, we hear the sharp sound of the hatch slamming shut, as well as the eerie score which is continuing throughout the film. Shot number 38 is an extreme close-up of the protagonist's match, as it is blown out when the attic is violently slammed shut. During the shot, we hear the sound of the match being blown out, as there is a breath of air. Shot number 39 is simply a short shot of complete darkness, to indicate that the protagonist's match has now gone out. However, the eerie score will continue over the shot. Shot number 40 is a close-up of the protagonist's face as he goes to light a second match. His face is dark before he lights the match, but as he lights the match, his face glows up with the light of the match. Shot number 41 is again a close-up of the protagonist's eyes showing fear after he has lit the match. It is an extreme close-up, and you can see the fear in his eyes. Also, during the shot, you will hear heavy breathing and the eerie score in the background. Shot number 42 shows the protagonist going to grab another match. It shows a close-up of the protagonist's hands as he reaches for the match, and his hands will be shaking, therefore the camera will shake to indicate this. Also, we will hear the sound of the match lighting. Shot number 43 links directly from shot number 42, and it is a close-up of the match just after it has been lit. There is no camera movement during the shot, and all we hear is the crackling of fire from the match and the eerie score in the background. Shot number 44 is an over-the-shoulder shot of the protagonist from the front of him. However, in this shot, we will see a figure come up behind the protagonist, as he is illuminated by the match that the protagonist is holding. There will be no camera movement during the shot, but however the eerie score will stop, and all we will hear is the heavy breathing of the protagonist and of the figure behind him. Shot number 45 will be exactly the same angle and position as shot number 44, except the camera will have zoomed in a little more and it will be closer up to the figure. In the shot we will see the figure leaning forward and extinguishing the match by blowing it out. All we will hear is the blowing of air, and there was no eerie score playing during this shot. Shot number 46 is simply complete darkness after the figure has blown out the match. We cannot see anything in the shot, and there is no eerie score playing, but all we can hear is the faint breathing of the figure.